So we are into the T20s. South Africa will be playing a T20 series against England, and going to be a proper test for South Africa. I think that the squad is very highly talented. There are a lot of individuals in this team that have a chance, that I hope have a chance to put up their hands and show what they are capable of as players. And maybe we will start to see a World Cup squad start to form. Now, we'll be talking about every single player that's in the squad again to remind you guys. I'll also read out to you guys what will be happening during this tour. We just got sent the schedule for the Proteas as well as for England, but I'll read you the Protea schedule, give you guys a sense of what their travel schedule's like and what their training schedule is like. And we're going to talk about specific approaches that we'd want to see, players we'd like to see, what we expect as fans as well. This will be a preview for the entire T20 series. Yes, I know we're talking about the first T20 mainly, but I think that sets the precedent and the tone for the rest of the tour. The best team that is available should be picked for that first T20, and then from there we can judge and adapt according to the rest of the T20s. But let's get involved right now, guys. Smash the like button, comment, share this on Twitter, on Facebook, on wherever you can. Let people join the show. We want to get more people, obviously, on this channel. Subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell as well. It's very important that you subscribe and click that notification bell because that's how you get access to all of our videos, and that's how you get reminders of when we go live. Like, you should have gotten a reminder now if you've clicked the notification bell as well. So let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to it. I've sent out the links to a couple of guys as well. If they're available, they will come on as well and join us. Um, but I'll start us off, guys, and let's have some fun with this one. I would like to also see your comments in the comment section. If I miss it, then please get involved in the live chat and super chats so that I can see your comments, because sometimes I do miss it and my brain can't multitask. So I struggle to look at the comments as well as talk at the same time. So I only go to the comments a little later on. And generally, I start at the beginning and try to sift through, and then majority of the time the middle guys will miss out, the guys that commented in the middle. So just bear with me. If you want me to read out, and it's of utmost importance, that is what the super chat is there for. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to chatting to you guys and finding out what you guys also want for this T20 series, what you guys expect, etc. So let's get into it. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show / daily show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. But we also get to chat about the first T20 between South Africa and England. The first T20 will take place in Bristol. It will be 1:30 to 4:30 local time kickoff. Yes, so that will be a 2 o'clock kickoff for South Africa in South African Standard Time. I'm sure, but I'm lying. I'm sorry, I'm lying. It's a 6:30 start local time, so 7:30 start South African time. Um, Interesting to see how that takes place. Tomorrow's training session will be between 1:30 and 4:30. Sorry, that's South Africa's training session, and we'll also get David Miller in the mix. Sorry, I'm all over the place. But looking forward to this one, of course. I think many are. The first one is in Bristol, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, because South Africa, generally speaking, have been talking a lot about playing cricket in a certain style that they want to play. They have differentiated their style from England's, and they specifically did say that England want to play their cricket that way. We want to play our cricket our way, and that is the way forward. So it'll be interesting to see that and how we approach it, because, yeah, This T20 arena, the T20 international cricket arena, is a complicated one for me because heading into this World Cup, we are hoping, at least I'm hoping to see improvements from the last one. I I won't accept as a fan if we digressed and we got worse, because that team was in transition. It was a newer team. It was a new methodology, new style, new ideology, etc. So I would like to see an improvement. With regards to the squad itself, I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. Fans were extremely happy with the addition of Riley Rousseau. Now, we know that the captain, Temba Bavuma, is not available, and David Miller is now the captain of this side. Riley Rousseau is, I'm hoping, is going to open the batting with Quinton, and we might be able to see that dynamic that we've been waiting for. I've been looking for Quinton de Kock to have an opening partner that can really strike the ball as well. Because for me, it's two type of players that actually um, can play with Quinton, but I'll get into that now. Let me just read out the squad to the guys: David Miller, Quinton de Kock, Riley Rousseau, Rassie van der Dussen, Aiden Markram, Heinrich Klaassen, Tristan Stubbs, and Riza Hendricks. Those are our batters. Then we've got all-rounders in this team: Dwayne Pretorius, Wayne Parnell, Gerald Kutsia, and Andile Pechlekwayo. Seaming-wise, Lungingiri, Aniknukia, Kagiso Rabada. I don't see that Andile. Let me just see something quickly. Yeah, Andile is still in the squad that was sent to us. So I think he will be fit probably for this. Recovered from the concussion, of course. Um, then you've got your seamers in Lungingiri, Andrich Nokia, and Kagiso Rabada, and then Keshav Maharaj and Debrey Shamsi. I was a bit shocked that Lazard Williams didn't make this team, but I think they're trying to play their best 11 and their best bowling attack as much as possible. I think that is the idea going forward with regards to this team. With regards to the opening, for me personally, if I look at the openers, I would like to see Temba no, sorry, I would like to see Quinton de Kock open with Radhe Rousseau. Now, I've always been speaking about what Quinton de Kock needs and what Quinton de Kock needs. I mean, I've put Quinton de Kock as a priority to build the team around. And for me, two types of batters work with Quinton de Kock. For me, it's either a batter that takes the pressure off his run scoring by scoring quickly and massive runs in the power play to take the pressure of scoring runs off him, and he can just go about his business quietly. Or with someone that will be able to kind of protect him in a way by running between the wickets regularly, making sure that he faces as much balls as possible, and making sure that he can bat as far as possible before the other person loses his wicket. So those are the two type of profile players that I see. It's either someone that can bat deep with him, and take the less of the shine and give it all to Quinton de Kock, or someone that can take it off him by making sure that they take the pressure of scoring off him. So we will see the two contrasts. I mean, Temba Bavuma is obviously the one that would have, if he was available, would have taken that pressure off Quinton by playing strokes and making sure that he gives Quinton the strike as much as possible, etc. Where Riley is obviously, for me, the big hitter in the power play. So I'm hoping that we see that. I would like to see a Quinton de Kock open with Riley Rousseau. And I want to also see us play our best 11 as much as possible. That being said, I hope that we wrap it up early so that we can see the likes of Tristan Stubbs and we can see the likes of Gerald Kutsia play, because they are two new guys in the team that I would obviously like to see play and see if they can add value to this particular team. Now, we must decide if we want to take that risk, bat with our best top five, and then give that 6 and number 7 spot to two new guys, or we want to continuously build momentum into the World Cup. For me personally, it's someone that, I'm someone that feels that we should play our best 11 and we should build as much momentum into the team into the World Cup as possible. A series win against England will do amazing, will do amazing for our confidence as South Africa. So I'm interested to see that. That's very important for me personally. Um, let me see something quickly. Is it available here? Here we go. This is what I wanted to look at. Hopefully it pops up. Okay, so when we look at some of the highest grounds in T20 cricket at Bristol, at Bristol's ground, Rohit Sharma has 100 not out on that ground. But that's the only century that was scored on this ground, and that was back in 2018. The next best was Jai Wardener with 72 not out in 2011, and Jason Roy was 67. So it doesn't seem like it is a very high scoring ground from that perspective. Um, Most likely could be a very tricky pitch, um, and not exactly what we are hoping for. I mean, I'm obviously hoping for a wicket that will be sporting for both sides. Both teams will be able to put good totals on the board and test each other properly. But I doubt that's going to necessarily be the case, from what history tells me and what stats have told me. Um, so yeah, let me just bring it up fast so that I can actually see everything and actually have a look at it properly. Um, Grounds. Hmm. Unique Stadium. Where is this? Damn. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I'll get to that a little bit later, guys, when I find that. But yeah, let's continue the discussion and get involved with this. So for me personally, I want to see South Africa have their their ducks in a row and put the best performance in that they possibly can and try to win. Because for me, it's a lot about them trying to build momentum going into this World Cup. It's so important to be able to do so because we can easily fall into the trap of trying too many things before this World Cup and then and then it almost ends up as an excuse. And I don't want it to end up like that. I don't want us to end up with some sort of excuse to say, oh, you know what, we tried a few players, blah 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 blah. Now, we it's very difficult to pick a weak team with a squad. Very difficult. I mean, even if you play your second string players, you're playing top players. So there aren't many in this squad. I don't think there are many liabilities, you could say. I think everybody in this team is deadly. So whatever combination they go with, um, should be a winning team. It should be able to beat England. Now I know it's England, and England can be quite deadly and very attacking and very dangerous. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But me personally, I want to see the best possible team that we have available to us. Aditya is with us right now, to join us as well with this discussion. Aditya, we're talking about at the moment just about Bristol, the ground itself, etc. I looked at some of the scores on the ground. There haven't been a lot of high scoring major 50s over there on that ground either in the time, from what I've seen. So it will be interesting to see what South Africa do and who they perform, who they play. First and foremost, let's talk about team selection. Um, I think the first one for us is Riley. So chat to me about Riley, because for me, if Riley performs in this series, that opening spot should be his. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. Because if power hitting is one of South Africa's major concerns, then he addresses that problem straight away. So he should get that opportunity. I mean, I think the question for Boucher and company will be whether they go in with that traditional sort of like for like replacement, in which case it's a Reza. But I think current form and power hitting requirements, in my view, would probably have Riley Rousseau in the opening with Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And like I explained the dynamic between the two, I said for me, two type of batters work with Quinton de Kock. Of course, someone that maybe can protect him in a way and allow him to keep most of the strike whenever they get the ball, try to take pressure, slight pressure off him, rotate the strike, get him to face majority of the balls, or someone that can take the pressure off him from a scoring perspective, that he can just go about his business quietly. Because for me, Quinton de Kock is the type of guy, the like yesterday's innings was the perfect innings for me from Quinton. That was the perfect innings. That's how I want to see him play more regularly and more consistently. Uh, I want to see him bat at that type of strike rate and maintain the pressure on the opposition while the other person goes about his business. That is like the perfect scenario for me. But if we can have a destructive person on top, like Riley Rousseau, that will be excellent as well, because that will also take pressure off Quinny. It's all about taking pressure off Quinny for me. I want to see him go out there as most relaxed as possible and perform the best that he can. Let's move on to the number 3 position. There's no question about it in my eyes. It's Rassie van der Dussen. Rassie van der Dussen has been phenomenal. And our best player, our best batter for quite some time now. I do think that this ground, um, I've managed to find it because they renamed the ground as well, guys. So I had to go and find it. Um, let's look at some of the highest totals on the ground, for example, from a team perspective, and try to whiz through them and see from a T20 perspective. Now, there haven't been many T20 games played at this ground, right? Let's just get that out of the way first. So, obviously, we're not going to necessarily see a whole host of massive scoring games on this ground. But the ones that have been there, 201 was scored by India in July 20, in July, if Aditya remembers that. And then England scored 198 for 9 in that particular game as well. So England obviously winning that. I mean, India obviously winning that game. But after that, it's 148, 144, 137, and 136. So there haven't been many games played at this ground, T20 games played at this ground. So it will be interesting to see what happens from a scoring perspective, how this wicket plays up. I'm trying to see if there's anything that they tell me about this over here. The ground now acts as a general sports center with squash and tennis courts, and in winter the turf serves as a target for golf drive ranging. I'm hoping that it will also host just general range hitting in general for Raleigh. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what will happen. I mean, the conditions are obviously going to determine who they're going to play, what selection they're going to have, etc., etc. So I can also maybe just have a quick look at the 1 day stats on this ground. Maybe that will give me a better understanding. Let's bring that up quickly. Maybe I should share it with you guys as well. I don't know why I'm not doing that. Sorry. Chrome tab. Where am I now? Which one is it now? Is it this one? Yeah, let's bring up this one. I don't want audio before I get demonetized. So here are some of the top scores on the ground in ODI cricket. As you can see on the screen, I'll zoom in for you guys so you can see a lot clearer. Definitely need a second screen, guys. Whoever wants to sponsor me with a second screen, go ahead, guys. There's a PayPal account in the link description. You can just click that and get me a new screen. Yeah, so we can see 151, 140s, but majority of the time it's half centuries on this ground in ODI cricket as well. Not many games also played here, as you can see. So When it comes to scores on the ground, the highest score ever scored was 369 as well. So, um, not many games played in the White Ball Arena at this ground. So let's wait and see. It would be nice to have Aaron on the show. I did send him the link to give us some insight into this ground and what it's going to offer us, but we don't have him here available with us. Um, with regards to the team dynamic, let's talk about the bowling department because there might be an opening for an extra batter if we don't play the extra spinner. Now, we do have, as I showed you earlier on, what our squad is. We've got the two spinners in Keshav and Debray Shamsi. But with Keshav not being the captain, is it really necessary to have two spinners? Looking at this ground, and it's not such a high scoring ground, they might be tempted into using two spinners. That could be a possibility. But from your perspective in the bowling department, are you, first and foremost, Aditya, are there any surprises in your 11 if you had to pick an 11? Are you going to go with maybe giving a guy like Tristan Stubbs an opportunity, seeing that he never had a chance before? He was a bit unlucky getting his chances. Would
Definitely.
you?
I would have both Riley and Tristan Stubbs in the team because I mean the thing is you have South Africa need to use this opportunity to assess various combinations and to address weaknesses that they might have. So on this ground, for example, it has a history of low scoring T20 games. And this is where South Africa's application will be tested, right? Because they've been asked to play that smart and aggressive brand of cricket,
Yeah.
but this ground is not exactly that. So here is where you don't want to be smart and aggressive and try to go for 170 and then get bowled out for 100 because the conditions don't support that. Instead, you want to aim for the pass score on this ground. Let's say it's 140. So you get to 140 and then you see where you can go from there. But I think application is going to be key for the Proteas here.
100%. And I'm hoping that they will be able to get some momentum with that style of cricket that they want to play because they obviously want to play an adaptable brand of cricket. They're not necessarily going all aggressive. They have put emphasis on smart a lot. Um, Unfortunately, that ODI didn't go as planned. We were hoping to win that series. But this is now a redemption time for us to be able to try and do that. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with the spinning department, if they're going to play the two spinners or not. Dependable, obviously, on the ground, we will know tomorrow. If it's a spin friendly window, of course, we can pick two spinners. But having Aiden Markram in the team has changed a lot of things with regards to that. Knowing that he's there in the middle order to be able to add a couple. Stubbs can also bowl a couple. So that would be, so we might not need. I would rather go with a Tristan Stubbs, um, and try and see what he can do with the ball as well as the bat, than go with Keshav. But then on the first flip side, I'm like, but well, I want to win this game first and foremost, and then give the opportunity to be able to test new things. And also, but also with the weather, you never know what the weather is going to be in England. It always changes. So you never know. But I'm going to look at the weather report um, for the next couple of days. It seems pretty sunny the entire week. Only Sunday it looks like it's going to rain in Bristol, so that's a good sign. It's going to be a little bit chilly. 22 degrees, not that it's warm for England maybe, but not warm for us. Of course, that's just a normal day. So it's going to be maybe be a little bit familiar for a lot of our South African players. Um, so it's going to be interesting. I mean, I would try it out. Let's try the seven specialist batsman thing because it's not because we have two batters over there that can add a couple of overs, and let's see what they can do. I mean, that will be a deadly batting attack, batting very deep. But we also got those two all rounders in three all rounders in the squad, but two very important ones in Wayne Parnell and Dwayne Pretorius, who have started to build a nice partnership in that order. So that's also going to be another thing that we need to speak about. So I'm feeling fairly confident about South Africa's chances in this particular T20 series because I feel that we've really picked our strongest team. I mean, bar from the likes of, you could say, um, we maybe could have had a George Linde in the team, or Bjorn Fortuin in the team as a spinner and option as well. Even perhaps some people would even say Vian Mulder as I'm not Vian Mulder, Vian Libbe as well. Because I mean he's been excellent in white ball cricket. But that's another fight that we have to play. I think this is a very, very strong team. I was very impressed with the team that they picked. I was very excited about it, and I'm excited about seeing Riley. Riley used to be my favorite player back in the day. Um, it was him and Abe de Villiers that I used to like completely like. I used to be in love with the two of them. I thought that they were excellent batters. I used to enjoy watching them bat. And then when Riley did what he did, I obviously saw it firsthand because I was a journo in the front in the presser, and when that whole thing unfolded, it did affect me. I was a bit hurt by it. So that was a bit of a sad one, but he's back, and it's going to be difficult for me to hold grudges against anybody. I don't want to be doing that. I've decided already early on that there's going to be a major change in my behavior with regards to the way I support teams. I've made this, so you guys need to hold me accountable for it. But whoever gets selected, and I think you can't call yourself a fan if you don't support everybody that is being selected. I tweeted it out the other day. Um, we can have these debates and criticize and not necessarily like a player, but we should be behind everybody when they get picked. Um, so that's what I want to do, and that's what I want to be like. I want to be the type of fan that supports the team through thick and thin as much as we can, right through. We've got a special interview for you tomorrow on the show, so I'm hoping that we get some more insight into the game and into the conditions and all of those type of things tomorrow. But this is our preview, little preview going forward. Aditya, let's talk a little bit more. Let's get some more insights from you. From an England perspective, how does South Africa stop that complete aggressive style of cricket that they want to play? How does South Africa combat that? And do you believe that this is the strongest strongest team that South Africa could have picked?
Strongest, well, I mean, possibly, but we can't ignore the fact that when Timber is fit, he's going to come back into the team. So that's a separate issue, obviously. But um, yeah, I think it's a solid team. But is it going to be the one that plays the World Cup? I don't know. I think there might be one or two changes there. With respect to England, it'd be interesting to see how they approach Bristol. Because I think the one thing that England probably don't want to do is get rolled out for less than par score. I think that's hurt them in the past, and they have been trying to apply themselves a bit better in that sense. Where I don't know if this is the sort of venue where you can go hammer and tongs from ball one. I don't know if conditions allow you to do that. So I would imagine that there's a bit more watchful batting from the English team, but we'll see. I think they have formidable opponents in the South African bowlers, so it's not going to be very easy for them to really get away.
Yeah, that's true, and we need to make sure that we are on song with our lines and lengths, etc. I mean, obviously things change according to conditions. We constantly say that, and South Africa will change according to the conditions. That is just naturally how it is with him. So obviously, we're going to have to monitor ourselves and make sure that we can keep those line and links. Those that stock delivery for me is so important. The stock delivery for me is everything because I know you use less of it in T20 cricket because the variations have been the thing. That's been the new thing. Back of the hand, slow balls, wobbly seams, Yorkers, all of those type of things are. We were hearing in the whiteboard. I enjoyed that segment from Sean Pollock talking about the difference between the way Dwayne Pretorius holds the ball to get that wobble, and the way Lungi Ngidi does it, and how Lungi has changed that particular delivery over the years. It's a lot more sneaky with Lungi now than it used to be. Um, but in T20 cricket, we're going to see a lot of variations, etc., a lot more than what we think. Not what we think, than what we get in ODI cricket. So it will be very important for them to do that as well. The T20 squad from an England perspective, I'm trying to just have a quick squiz to see where that is. I had it available to me earlier on, and now it's just flipping disappeared. But yeah, let's continue the conversation, Aditya. When let's look at some of the questions in the comment section. I think that will help us out a lot as well. Um, we've got. I'm just gonna start in the middle, slap bang in the middle, guys, because yeah, I can't go all the way to the top right now. Imagine a T20 top six of Quinton Cock, Riley, Rassi van der Dussen, Markram, Miller, and Klaassen. We will definitely find much needed answers in terms of the type of cricket we should be playing with that top six. Yes, I think 100%. I think that is our best top six. It's going to be interesting what they're going to do when Temba Bavuma comes back. Very, very interesting. Because if Riley shows the signs that we know he's capable of, it's going to be very difficult for Bavuma to get back into this team. We might see, unfortunately, maybe someone like Klaassen get forfeited for that, even though he is very much in form, because they have put such a high value on Markram as a player in this, as an important player in this team because of that extra bowling option. They've constantly mentioned it in press conferences, etc. So we know how high value Markram is, and with the form that he has in T20 cricket, there shouldn't even be a question about his selection. So that Riley Rousseau spot right there is going to be the key factor to a lot of things on how we're going to approach this World Cup going forward. Um,
Because if Timber comes back, then I suppose Riley would probably be down at three, and then you have Rassi at four, Markham at five, and so on. And I think in T20 cricket, having Miller at six is a bit of a problem. Having Rassi at four is also not ideal. It's everyone gets uh, pushed down a position. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to deal with that if Riley comes good in this series, assuming that he is going to open.
yeah, assuming that he's going to open, yeah, because he could also bat in the middle order too. That's also, or as a finisher, he could be. But I think opening is probably the best spot for him currently. I mean, he opened for the Knights, I think, when they played in that T20 challenge competition. I think, did he? Was it him? I know that we batted somewhere in the top order, I think, if I remember correctly. If Riley performs that opening spot, what happens to Pavuma? He's captain, and dropping you captain months away from the World Cup is going to be a highly controversial, and it is. That is exactly what Aditya alluded to earlier on. It's going to be very interesting what's going to happen. I still believe that you pick your best players on form at a particular time, um, and yeah, it's going to be very interesting because I think the we have the, how can I say, the luxury of being able to pick according to form. That's the luxury because we have so many great players that are going to that we hopefully going to put up their hand for this tournament. I mean, for in the series for the tournament coming up. So, how much do we actually read into this, Aditya, into the series? Because obviously the conditions are going to be different to Australia, is it not? So how much do you actually read into it if players perform here and start smacking that ball around?
I think it'll get tricky. It'll get really tricky. Uh, but having said that, if Timber's fit even by the India series and performs, then I don't think there'll be as many question marks. But I think what might happen is that assuming Riley fills in, does well, the entire top order does well, and then you have the India series like later on in the year, in October, I believe. Then and then there are question marks again with respect to batting, and I think that will pose more problems. Uh, but that's something that they do have to figure out, I suppose.
And also to see the dynamic between Quinton de Kock and Riley. Can they play together? Um, we're gonna have to wait and see for that as well. Um, Let me move on. Surely Markram, that's what his role is in the team. I'm hoping that he will be able to bowl at least 3 overs. I mean, minimum two for me. Do you see Maharaj in the T20 side? I can see a role for him in the T20 side, but I do think Shamsi is ahead of him in T20 game. Me personally, to play Shamsi, I mean, he's number two, number one ranked, constantly switching around. So, for me personally, that's what I think. Um, so I've got over here England's Vitality T20 squad. Let me just um, it was Josh Butler, Moeen Ali, Jonathan Bairstow, Harry Brook, Sam Curran, Richard Gleeson, Chris Jordan, Liam Livingston, David Malan, Adil Rashid, Jason Roy, Full Salt, Reece Topley, and David Wiley. That's what the ECB's website says, at least. Um, so yeah, um, I'm not that as worried actually about this particular series as I was in the ODIs, to be honest. I feel a lot more calm than I was in that ODIs, personally. Um, Last T20, Bristol also produced 399 in 38.4 overs. Seems like a batting paradise. Well, we need to look at the scores um, differently. I think look at how many scores have been scored there. And also, the conditions might be different because of the massive heat wave that they've had recently as well in England. There's been a major change in weather in England recently. So it might not be the same wickets as they were before. We don't know how much work has been done on there. Jatan says, "Hey Aditya, have you taught Khalid Hindi?" I'll leave you to answer that.
No, brother, I was trying to learn Afrikaans.
Which I was still haven't had a full. I haven't given you a full lesson quite yet.
Nah, brother, it's been a lekker show so far, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a liquor show earlier. Cape Viking asking, does the quota targets apply for each format or does it apply collectively? It applies over calendar year. So they will look at the ratios according to a calendar year. If you work it out, it's about 5 players per team. But if you pick 5 players of color per team right throughout this year, and it's across formats too, then you'd come out to the ratios that they actually want because it's in percentages. So it's like it's I think it's 55% or something like that. 55% has to be Black African and the rest white. But no, Black African, sorry, people of color and the rest is white. So if you want to, I mean, you have a choice of picking 12 people of color if you want to. There's no obviously quota on the amount of white or limit on the amount of people of color you can pick. But it will be worked out over a period of time. They also know, from what I've heard and what I've seen, there's no quotas in World Cups. They pick the best team that's available for the World Cup. From the last couple of World Cups, that was been the message that has been portrayed to me, at least, that in 2019 they never had a quota system, and in the T20 World Cup they also didn't. So that was the message that was sent to me personally about that. Parnell or Pretorius for the all-rounder spot. That is actually because if you're going to go with that extra batter, that is going to be the one that we're going to be look. Those are the two that we're going to be looking at, and which one takes it.
Can you play two?
You could play two. Could play two.
Because Pretorius at this point is has been part of the plans for a long time,
Yeah.
and he's proven himself not only here but also in the IPL.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
he has been really confident.
I think I saw an 11 year from someone early on. Someone posted an 11 early on. It's gone now. Where is it? Don't know where it is. It's disappeared. Um, can you guys post your 11s in the live chat, please, so we can see what your 11s are, please? I would like to see what you say, because I'm looking at that 7-8 position. Those are the two positions for me that Parnell and Pretorius will take. So then the 1 to 6 is going to be batters, of course. But if you're going to play an extra batter and move it down, and 8 and 9 are going to be your all rounders, that leaves only one spot for two spots for a seamer, and then one for a spinner. So that also could be an option. Having 8 and 9 being Parnell and Pretorius, and then you have KG, Lungi or Andrich, and then you have your Tabre Shamsi. So that also is a very strong team, and then you are batting till 8. Now I'm sorry, till 9, which could be very, very. It's actually very enticing to me, actually, if I think about it, um, because if you play Stubbs as well and you bat him at 7, that could also be an option. And then you bat deep, really deep, and then you can have two all-rounders in your team as well. So that's also interesting. But for me, between Parnell and Pretorius, it has to be Pretorius because of the World Cup. He's played excellently in that World Cup. He's been the main T20 all-rounder for South Africa. I don't think he's done anything to deserve being swapped out for Parnell. If Pretorius wasn't performing well, and he didn't perform well, I mean, he even had a couple of stints at number 3 batting. If he didn't have all of that and he didn't do all of those things, then I would have maybe considered maybe bringing him Parnell because of the left arm option, and the experience and the speed that he bowls at, because he bowls a lot faster than Pretorius. But seeing that currently Pretorius is the most informed all-rounder that we have available to us in T20 arena, for me, if I had to choose between the two, it will go Pretorius. Moeen Ali is the most dangerous player in that England side. Who are you worried about the most in Aditya in this England side?
I think batting wise, it's got to be Butler, right?
Yeah, 100.
He's,
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
He's an arsehole, actually. He's so frustrating because he just destroys everybody. When he's in form, he just destroys
so
you.
confident.
And then he also
right
has that cockiness about him that I don't like. Oh, so Butler and who else?
I think Butler is probably the key factor there, and then obviously Ben Stokes. You can't take him out of the game at all. So I think these two players for me are serious thorns in South Africa's way.
Yeah, true. True. I don't see Ben Stokes in the squad, funnily enough. So Ben Stokes I don't see him in the squad that I have in front of me here. Maybe I've got the wrong squad in front of me here. Do you have the squad in front of you, Aditya? Because, yeah, according to the squad, I don't have Ben Stokes is not in the squad. So I'm a bit worried about Liam Livingston as well. I think on his day, he can be deadly, devastating. So he's another person, also with that little bit of spin that he adds as well. But I would agree with you. You know, who's actually quite an irritating customer is Johnny Bairstow as well, because that man, he just knows how to get under a person's skin when he bats. Like he always seems to just find a way.
Yeah, and he's really dangerous. Like if you give him pace and bounce early on in his innings, he can cause some serious damage. And not to mention one thing that's sort of underrated in Johnny Bairstow's arsenal is his running between the wickets. He rotates strike really well, and he's supremely fit. So, um, yeah, he's Johnny Bairstow is a serious threat to South Africa as well.
Mhm. So let's see some of the teams that people have thrown in the live chat. We've got QDK, Rousseau, Rassie van der Dussen, Markram, Klaassen, Miller, Pretorius, Parnell, KG, Nokia, and Shamsi. So Lungi's out of that particular team over there and only playing one spinner. Pretorius, 11, I don't know. QDK, Riley Rousseau, Rassie van der Dussen, Markram, Miller. Seems like the same team. Klaassen, Pretorius, Parnell. Oh, he's put Lungi in instead of Andrich and then Shamsi. Interesting one, Lorenzo. Then Lawrence says QDK Riley, Rassie van der Dussen, Mark Miller, Heinrich Klaassen, Stubbs, Dwayne Pretorius, KG, and Gidi Shamsi. So the same as his bro. Then is John as well, says Quinter Cock Riley, Rassie van der Dussen, Miller, Markram, Stubbs, Dwayne Pretorius, Parnell, KG, Kesh, and Shamsi. So he's playing two spinners, anticipating maybe that there's going to be more spin in the wicket. Um, let's see. Time for the Soul Miller Madness once again. Oh, that will be incredible to see. Liam Livingston is a pinch hitter. We can get out easily. That is also true, but when he's hitting that ball hard, he is massively
Yeah, but I
winning
mean,
that
if
ball.
Liam Livingston hits 25 of 10 balls, he's done his job.
He's done his job. Yeah,
He's
in
done
T20
his job.
cricket, is a lot more devastating than in ODIs, in my opinion. Because I watched him for the Blitz. Like that man's devastating. He's very intimidating. Actually, at the crease.
And he can really hit it long. Like he's scary. Liam Livingston is scary. If I were a bowler, I'd bowl with him with with a helmet and pads on. Like he's that kind of scary.
Hmm. Yeah, so there are some guys that have similar teams, and maybe that the contemplation about whether we should play that extra spin or not is going to be the major question. It's going to probably highlight the pressure, the conditions, I think, because not a lot of us know a lot about this ground. Um, so let's see what happens with regards to that. Um, Final words from you. What do you expect from this match? What do you think is going to happen in this match? For me personally, I think it's going to be a victory for South Africa. I think the toss is going to play a massive role in deciding that too, in the result too.
Yeah, I think if for South Africa, this is a good opportunity to experiment, to give players, match time. Players like Christian Stubbs, for example, get them confident. This is a good time to do that because South Africa can benefit from having a lot more power hitters in their game, and this is a good time to sort of try them out.
Yeah, these. So let's see what South Africa do. It's going to be very interesting to see how this match turns out, how South Africa approaches this game, and what we have learned from the World Cup and from previous T20s. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. Smash the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell for all future videos as well. Don't forget to also subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Become a patron today to help us help South African cricket grow. cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates as well. There's also some news that I want to say, that I never got to speak about today, and that is Lance Klusner. He was announced as the Durban franchise's coach. So that's going to be a very interesting one. Great to see him back in the mix. You know that we've had him on the show before. We've had him on the channel before. He's someone that I enjoy speaking to. I've spoken to Lance quite a few times to get some cricket insights from him. So that's very, very nice to see that he's back in the mix again in South African cricket. And let's see what he can do at the franchise. Getting a team like that is awesome. He might be able to inject some of his personality and his style of play into our cricketers. That will help a lot. So let's see what happens with regards to that. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for everything and all the support. We'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Like I said, we're gonna have a special guest with you tomorrow. Cross fingers, touch wood that nothing bad happens. But same show, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Take a chill pill. I know it's a Monday, might have been a hard day for you. Kick back, relax, and just chill, guys. Try to get try to get your energy levels back up again. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you guys very soon. Peace.